today in this live session we will show how to make pre-lasting. It's the step that always can help us to make a good lasting, especially if you approaching to this for the first time. You see, we here this is the desert wood. It's made from the upper made from split leather. It's the second layer, or even could be also third layer of leather. How do we know that this is split leather? Because of the surface that it has on both sides. It has same surface, the kind of sweat leather on the top and on the inner side. Okay, so pre-lasting is the process where we prepare our upper to the real lasting. It will help us when you move on to last real with the insole, with all the needed reinforcement, the toe part, the back part, the stiffeners. It will help us to place it correctly on the shoe last, because our upper will have the shape of the shoe last. Okay, so you see, we placed the upper on the shoe last. It's very important to place it on the way where the back of the shoe, any type, if it's flat-bodied shoes, if it's derby shoes, Oxford shoes, boots, any footwear type, the back center line must lay exactly on the back of our shoe last. Okay, this is first step. You place it on the middle here, and then when you start to pull the toe part, also the center line of the upper must lay on the center of the shoe upper, except patterns where you have identical inner side and outer side, where you need to move a little bit inner side a little bit higher. For example, here and here it must be a little bit lower than the outer side. Okay, so in some patterns it's a little bit different way, but always in the center it must be laid on the center of the center back seam, must lay exactly on the center of the shoe last. Okay, after you place it on the shoe last, we pull on the toe, and Bunny, our dear friend, great shoemaker, already lasted here. You see, he lasted the front, placed the placed the nails, and then he pulled upper from both sides close to the toe. It's something in the middle between the joint line and the toe. Okay, these two nails he pulled, and you see here we have more elastic allowance than here a little bit, because here he has identical outer and inner side. Okay, so this is I love pre-lasting step because it's really help to place the upper nicely when you will move on to the real lasting, because sometimes if you work with some durable leather like patent leather or some thick leather, or kind of patterns like you know, there is a pattern ankle boot with the with the elastic bands on the sides, and it has almost one cut pattern, and it has very straight long upper, and it's very difficult to last from the first time. And that's why, for example, in making ankle boots we use this approach. Okay, and for example, this is how we work. Okay, it depends on the upper. Now, what if you start lasting without pre-lasting? It's also it's in most of the cases this is how we approach to lasting, but sometimes I advise to make pre-lasting if it's your first time of making shoes. Okay, so in general will last right away, but in the ways, in the situations where you have very thick leather, when you have pattern that has long upper without any curves and you need to place it correctly on the shoe last, you don't have working with toe puffs and back parts, the stiffeners, it's very difficult to last very fast until all the materials will dry, the reinforcements I mean, okay? So that's why sometimes pre-lasting is better option. And if you are a beginner, if you ask yourself if I'm a beginner and should I use pre-lasting, I say yes. I say yes because first of all you need to make a prototype, one half of the shoe, and working with this one half you can learn the lasting process with pre-lasting. Okay, so it will help you to last using inner materials. It will help you to do it better, to work faster, because you will understand how to last. Okay, so this is the one of the approaches. Okay, so if you work with thick leather, patent leather, and it's hard, do pre-lasting. For example, in ankle boot course we did pre-lasting because we had one cut upper, okay, with a straight long line. And imagine how to work it with this kind of upper with the stiffeners that you will need to place in the back part, in the toe. It's very difficult because first you need to place it on the shoe last so the upper will have this shape. Okay, that's why, for example, Bunny now make pre-lasting, because first of all now we work with the fabric and Bunny wants to see how it will come out with the fabric. Okay, so he check how it will be, he checks. And pre-lasting also, this upper, after being on the shoe last, it will keep the shape of the shoe last. And then after we will move to real elastic with all the details, it will right away will get the shape of the shoe last. You see, this is the example also of pre-lasting when the leather is super hard, super thick. You see, it's it would be very difficult to last it right away with all the inner details. Okay, you will spend a lot of time and maybe you will not reach any result and you will be very angry. Okay, so that's why with these types of leather, pre-lasting is must have. So the question, usually it's not a fabric, what is the difference? The difference between fabric and leather, first in stretchiness. Okay, leather stretches more, fabric stretches less, but also it depends on the type of the fabric. This one, for example, is stretchy. I prefer to work with leather, but sometimes for economic reasons, to save a little bit money, some shoemakers use fabric for the lining. Okay, and if with the fabric, the stiffeners, it's better to place the toe puff out of thermoplastic. Yes, because if we will place here the non-woven chemical, maybe the spots of the glue can come through the fabric, maybe not. It's require a test. Okay, but to know exactly that from the first time you will have beautiful shoe upper where the lining will be out of fabric, use thermoplastic material. Now another question, can I use fabric for upper? Yes, of course you can use a fabric for upper, for lining. It's
Example is espadrillas.
yes.
Espadrillas is from fabric. Sneakers.
If you want to make shoes out of fabric, you should develop your patterns for fabric, because leather stretches a lot. Some fabrics doesn't stretch, and for lasting allowance you need to add more than usually we add for the leather. Okay. So and also fabric, if you use some thin fabric, it's better to reinforce it with special fabric for reinforcements, like in making clothes. For example, in sneakers course with low top line, I show how to reinforce leather with fabric out that usually used for clothing. When with heating, it attaches to the inner side of the leather, and after this the leather come more not such a stretchy, especially if you will use leather not with good quality, to reinforce it and to have, for example, areas between quarters and toe. If you will place here fabric to reinforce it on the inner side leather, or even if your upper will be out of fabric, to reinforce it with another special fabric, it will give you a better result in lasting. Here you will have more stable part. Okay, it will not have loose sides. If you will make, for example, flat bodies out of fabric, reinforce it with special fabric with adhesive side. You need to attach it, and to make it home you can use simple domestic iron. Okay, for example, in my fabric course, out of fabric, where I use very stiff, we use very stiff fabric, we still reinforce it. Okay, because it during lasting we pull it, and some fabric will not be such a good for the uppers. Okay, so to be sure that we will have beautiful uppers out of fabric, it's better to reinforce them. Okay, so now you see we are continuing with pre-lasting. First we applied here nails around the shoe last.
Finished.
Okay, so you see, first we put on the toe, place the nails on the toe, and then in the middle, and then we have here on the toe we have big folds, so to flatten and to place our upper well on the shoe last, Banner placed here also nails in the toe area. Okay, and now you see it has beautiful shape that follows the shape of the shoe last, and after it will be on the shoe last few hours or overnight. Yes,
overnight.
Next morning when you will come, you will take all the nails. You will have
easy. Tomorrow is much easy.
You will have the shape already prepared for the lasting. Okay. It looks beautiful in the bunny case, but it comes with experience. Okay, maybe after watching this video you will go to last it, and maybe you will not have same results, but don't worry, this is the excellent step to practice with lasting, because here you don't place any stiffeners, nothing, you don't attach nothing. Okay, so it's easy to try if you see that something went wrong. Okay, some part, for example, you see, from watching looking on the shoe last from this point of view, this part is higher than this part, and this is how it must be always in pattern making. It's this inner side, all parts, all lines of inner side a little bit higher and closer to the center line. And if you make pattern where outer side and inner side are identical pattern, you should place your upper in the way where this side is a little bit lower than this side, so the center will go slightly toward the outer side. Okay, so all these steps, all the mistakes that possibly you can make during lasting, like placing it not well on the shoe last, not if you will pull, and you will see that you will have here some empty gaps. To avoid all these mistakes that beginners do, make a pre-lasting. So the step where you place the upper without insole, without stiffeners, without the toe puff, without the counters. Okay.
So maybe to share some trick, because if it's a leather thick or very
Yeah.
hard to usually I use some liquid fluid, some like mix alcohol in 30% of alcohol and 70% of water, or sometimes use the like Lenor or something for also make the mix for
Yeah.
and
So
spray from the bottom side of the leather, spray little weight to and
a
then
few minutes or a few
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah.
and then
Last.
pre-lasting.
Yes. Okay. So you saw which instrument we use during lasting. It's very important. I see a lot um, who teach on YouTube. I saw a few times that someone last without shoe last with hands. It's very difficult. It's very difficult job. It's not professional, and you will have wrong. You will not have excellent, good results. Okay, this is professional tool, shoemaking tool that shoemaker use during lasting. Pincers. There are different types of pincers, where this part can be a little bit wider or with very narrow point jaw for lasting, to last the toe with pointed shoe last, or with the, for example, in making kids shoes we use this with this.
So for this fold.
Yes, we use these pincers to be able enter with the jaw between folds and grab it and pull it. Okay. So if you don't have this pincers like this, you can work with this as well, using corner of the jaw, grab it with the corner of the jaw, pull and twist and last. Okay, so never last without pincers. It's very easy. It's much easier than last with hands. It has this part where we place it on the shoelace and use it as a leverage. Okay, you don't really pull with your hands. You use this kind of leverage to pull it in easiest way. Okay, without a lot of efforts. Okay, just like this. So please use always pincers in process of lasting, and at the end it will affect how your shoe will look. Okay, and it could be it also affect on the look of your shoes, because if you will not last good, maybe it will look good on the shoe last, but when you will take it off you will have loose sides. Okay, and you may think, oh, I did the wrong pattern, maybe, but maybe because you lasted with the hands. Okay, so these pincers, this type of or any other, maybe a little bit simpler without this part.
This is
Yeah,
thick,
yes,
thick piece. Yes,
one
this
loves this
modern,
one.
and this
Yes.
comes the problems with the
Hand.
nerves.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah. When you work
when you
a lot.
work a lot,
Yeah.
then I had this experience, and very painful with the back
Hand.
side, because the nerves,
Mm-hmm.
nerves is here, and this old vintage tool,
Yes, it's difficult
no
to find
problem.
like this.
no problem
Yeah.
with this.
Okay, so if you don't have vintage, use the simple one, but never use hands. Okay, so this, you see these pincers have a little bit wider jaw, but also working with these pincers you can last any shoe type, on working with any shoe last. Okay, you need to decide if you make shoes for beautiful Instagram images or to have beautiful and also comfortable shoes. Work professionally, okay, so to have real shoes. Okay, so the pincers with this part where we use it to pull in the easiest way, and also to
Like hammer.
to place nails inside. We use this part as a hammer. So we we pull and use this part of the pincers to place the nails. Okay. So give me again this shoe last with pre-lasting. So here we use same steps that we will use when we will approach to the real lasting, except inner parts. Okay, the back part, the back stiffeners, and the toe puffs. But the process is the same. You always need to place it on the center in the back, then pull on the toe in the middle, then close this part, and then on the toe place few nails to have nice upper without folds here, close to the edge of the shoe last. Okay, there are different types of lasting. For example, here Bunny used steel nails that we can't bend. Okay, if you use nails that you can bend, in real lasting you will bend them. You will place here glue, you will bend them and leave it to dry. Okay, so the lasting depends on different things. Material you use for the upper, material that you use for the stiffeners, the nails that you work with, I mean the tools that you work with. Okay, all this and also material, I mean the type of upper that you're gonna use in lasting. Okay, all this influence on the lasting process, and this one of them, and we call it pre-lasting. Okay, so to talk a little bit about materials that influence on the way how we last, it depends what you use. The chemical, non-woven chemical fabric that we activate with some solvent or with glue. We place it on the back and on the toe. Also, there is thermoplastic material that we activate with heating. There is special industrial fan with the high temperature of heating that we use to place the thermoplastic material, and it's better to use it only in the toe puff. In the back part, it's difficult to use thermoplastic materials. Okay, use it in the toe puff, or make stiffeners out of vegetable tan leather. Okay, these three main materials that we use to reinforce our shoes. Now, next, if you work with very stiff hard leather, use pre-lasting like we showed today. And if you have nails that it's very difficult to bend, like steel nails, also use the approach like Bunny showed, like this. You will never bend them. You will place them here and then apply here glue and close it with hammer here, okay, to attach them. If you have nails that you can bend, place the glue and bend the nails to keep the upper on the to wait until the glue will dry. Okay, so all these things influence on how you will last. It's the lasting process is profession by itself. It's one of the most it's not one of the most, it's the step that's very important in making shoes. Okay, and you must know all these things before you approach to lasting. Okay, but it all depends on the experience. Okay, when you start to work, you will see how always my students ask me how much I know, how I will know on how much I need to pull. Okay, it's I can't explain. Oh, you pull until you will feel some, I don't know, that you can't pull anymore. But it depends on the on the shoe pattern that you make. If you see that you can pull too much, and see that the suddenly the line of the, for example, flats will go too low, you don't need to pull. Okay, because you will open too much, and here it will be, I don't know, will slip down from your shoe. Okay, it will slide down from your feet. Sorry, not slip down, slide down from your feet. Okay, so all this depends on leather type, and that's why I think the pre-lasting is a good option when you don't know how to last and don't know the stretchiness of leather. Okay, so even you will work with the other shoe type like flat bullets, let's say, as an example. Also, you make one half of the, we call it prototype. You will make one half of the pair, place it on the shoelace, and then try to work with the pincer. And this is the moment where you can understand how much you need to pull. Okay, usually I explain for beginners, if you work with flat body shoes, I measure the distance between the height of the back part and the opening that we planned in the pattern making. I measure the distance that I planned in pattern making. I mark the point, okay, on both shoe last to last identically the flat body shoes. And then during lasting work making prototype, I pull how much I can, and when I see that I pass this point, but leather still, the upper still looks very loose on the shoe last, that means that working with this leather I need to change my pattern. Okay, because okay, I got the point that I marked on the shoe last, but the upper looks not good. It has some loose sides, for example, or I feel that I can pull it more. So I will change my pattern. I will not pull, I will not leave like this. Okay, I will need to shorten the upper pattern for the upper, because I see that this leather that I work with is too stretchy and I can pull it more. So I need to change the pattern following the qualities of the leather that we use. Okay, so there are there are many reasons why you can have loose sides. One of the main reasons is the pattern itself, and I see a lot in works of my students. They ask me why I have this on loose sides, and because of the pattern. This mistake always happens when you transfer masking tape from the shoe last to the cardboard. Okay, you attach it in wrong direction on the cardboard, and because of this comes this such common mistake that beginners do when you have loose sides. Okay, so this is one of the reasons in pattern making. This is loose sides. Almost always the reason of the loose sides is because of the pattern itself. So don't blame the leather that you work with. Check well your pattern. Okay, so it's, you see, we start from lasting and come to the pattern making, but everything is connected in shoemaking. One step influence on the second one, and it's like a snowball, you know. It starts from the peak and then it comes down. It's already a big with big problems. Okay, so experience with the pattern, with the lasting, and you will have good results. It's one of the things. It's do it, practice, and I'm sure that you will have good results if you will follow all the rules in pattern making, and will check well your pattern and then move to the next steps. Everything will come good. Okay, so if you have any questions, I don't see, comment below, and I will try to answer all your questions. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you, Bane,
Thank you.
for your excellent job as always. Thank you, and see you in the next live session.